A married woman who wants you won't say it with words, but her body, her eyes, and her silence will speak for her, like a scream no one else can hear. And if you don't learn to read that language, you might fall into a trap, or miss a chance that will never come again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many married women feel emotionally alone, unsatisfied in their intimacy, and they start looking for in other men what they no longer find at home. And if you're on her radar, you'd better know how to spot it before it turns into a game you can't walk away from without paying a price. Today I'm going to show you 7 clear signs, and let me warn you, the last one is the most direct, the boldest, the one that leaves you with no excuses. It's no accident you're here. I'm Celia, and this isn't a video for the curious. It's for men who truly want to understand the female mind in maturity. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could forever change the way you see women and yourself. Have you ever wondered why a woman who already has a husband, a family, and a settled life suddenly starts seeking you out with no apparent reason? It's not courtesy, it's not kindness, it's something else, something darker, more human, more real. This is the first point in the video, and I want you to open your eyes wide, because this isn't some teenage fantasy. It's dangerous ground, but it's also revealing. She comes to you without a clear reason, and when that happens, you're facing a desire that doesn't dare speak, but can't stay silent either. No married woman starts chasing another man without a deep reason. And I don't mean logical reasons. I'm talking about lack, emotional and physical emptiness that's eating her up inside. Maybe her husband doesn't look at her like he used to. Maybe routine has devoured what once was passion. Maybe she feels invisible in her own home. And then someone shows up who looks back at her, someone who listens, who sees her, who makes her feel alive again, and that someone could be you. Don't mistake her interest for politeness. That late-night call, that out-of-the-blue message, that, "How are you?" that sounds innocent, but is loaded with intent. Those are bait. They're ways of testing if you're emotionally available. She won't dive in head first. Not yet. First, she needs to make sure you're also willing to break the rules. Because a married woman isn't looking for comfort. She's looking for complicity, for adrenaline, for something to give her back the power she's lost in her everyday life. Let me tell you a true story. A 62-year-old man, divorced for over a decade, started getting messages from a former co-worker. She'd been married for more than 30 years, and she was texting to catch up. At first, the conversations were light, laughs, memories. Then came the late-night messages, then the confessions. I don't feel loved. My husband doesn't touch me anymore. I feel like I'm fading away. And finally, the key question. Can I call you? What began as a casual conversation ended with her crossing the city to meet him. Why? Because she needed something her marriage no longer gave her. To feel desired, to feel seen, to feel alive. This isn't an isolated story. It's more common than you think. The problem is, most men don't know how to read these signs. Or worse, they brush them off. But if a woman with a whole life already built starts reaching out to you without a clear reason, it's not because she's bored. It's because there's something inside her screaming to come out. Something her current life doesn't allow her to explore. And if you don't understand that, you could end up being her escape valve, or her next disappointment. Desire in maturity is complex. It doesn't wear the same face it did in youth. It's no longer expressed through direct words or obvious flirting. It shows up in loaded silences, in persistent presence, in messages that say nothing but suggest everything. And if you don't have the clarity to see what's really going on, you could lose control before you even realize it. So listen carefully. If a married woman starts seeking you out with no apparent reason, don't take it lightly. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you're special without asking yourself why. Ask yourself what void you're filling. Ask yourself if you're ready to play that game, and if you know how far you can go without losing yourself along the way. Because this isn't just desire, it's power, it's need, and it's a terrain where many mature men have entered thinking they were ready, only to come out broken. When a married woman starts telling you that her marriage is a nightmare, that she feels lonely, empty, ignored, She's not bearing her soul out of kindness. She's inviting you into a game where only one person loses, and that person could be you. We've reached the second key point of this video, when she confesses how unhappy she is in her marriage. It's no coincidence. It's not tenderness. It's emotional strategy. The moment she says, "He doesn't look at me anymore. He doesn't touch me. I feel like I don't matter," she's casting a hook. Not because she wants your advice, not because she wants saving, but to see if you're willing to step into the role her husband no longer fills. And that role isn't the husband or the true love. It's the intimate comfort, the escape, the body that makes her feel alive again, even if just for a moment. Many men, especially later in life, make the mistake of thinking she's looking for a second chance. That if they touch her right, make her laugh, listen attentively, she'll leave it all behind and start fresh. But that's not going to happen. Don't fool yourself. She's not going to leave her husband for you. She won't give up her stability, her routine, her name, for an affair that only reminds her she's still desirable. What she wants from you isn't a future. It's a spark to reignite her dormant desire, a reflection of what she once had and no longer finds at home. And you're that mirror. In practical psychology, this is called emotional displacement. She projects onto you what she can't fix in her own home, and if you don't see it clearly, you end up becoming her therapy on legs, her soothing voice. But be careful, because the more you comfort her, the more she clings. And the more she clings, the more you depend too. Until one day she says, "I need you," and the next, she's sleeping with her husband like nothing ever happened. Stoic philosophy talks about control, not of others, but of yourself. Controlling your emotions, your need to feel chosen, to believe you're special. Because the uncomfortable truth is, you're not. You're useful, desired, yes, but not irreplaceable. She's playing with fire because she's burning out inside. But you don't have to become the fuel for that fire. You're not here to hold up a story that was never yours. So listen closely. Don't fall into the role of the savior. She doesn't want to be rescued. She wants to be revived. But only for a moment, just until she feels attractive again, just until desire runs through her skin once more. And when it does, she'll go back to her life, her home, her bed, her routine. And you, if you're not aware, will be left empty, confused, thinking something real was starting, when in truth you were just her emotional pause. It's not love, it's need. And you get to decide whether you step into that game, but do it knowing the rules. Because if you get your hopes up, if you give yourself fully, if you think this time it'll be different, you're only setting yourself up for a blow worse than rejection, indifference. She's not going to choose you. She's going to use you. Be aware of that. Or be ready for the next confession not to come from her, but from your own reflection, asking why you let yourself be fooled. After she's sought you out for no apparent reason and confessed that her marriage feels like an emotional prison, the next step is often much subtler, but also far more dangerous. We've reached the third point in this video, and this is where things begin to shift. She starts touching you more than necessary. And I'm not talking about polite hugs or accidental brushes. I'm talking about those gestures that seem harmless, but are charged with a tension that's impossible to hide. The body speaks before words. Schopenhauer once said, "The body reveals what the soul tries to hide." A hand on your back that lingers longer than normal. A hug that lasts after everyone else has let go. A casual touch on your arm while talking. These aren't friendly gestures. They're rehearsals, silent suggestions meant to provoke a physical response from you. Because she's not going to say, "I want you." She's going to show it. And it's up to you to read that language correctly. This is where many men get confused. They think it's spontaneous, that she didn't even realize it, that it was a slip. But there are no slips when desire is involved. Every touch, every bit of closeness, every excuse to enter your personal space is designed to test your readiness. Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you pull away? Do you play along? She's watching everything, not to fall in love, but to decide whether you can awaken that part of her that's rusted over at home. That part of her that misses being seen, being touched, being wanted. The practical strategy here is this: respond without giving in. Keep your composure. Don't react awkwardly or with excitement. Be fully aware of what's happening, but don't become the desperate man who melts at the first sign of affection. What a married woman desires is not a man who crumbles. It's a man who knows exactly what's going on and still chooses whether to play or not without losing control. Because real power isn't in touching, it's in resisting, in deciding with clarity when, how, and why. Think of it like a game of chess. React too quickly and you've lost. Don't react at all and you go unnoticed. But if you keep the pace, recognize each move without revealing your hand, then you control the board. She will notice. And even if she doesn't say it, she'll respect you for it. Because most men don't know how to hold back. They confuse desire with urgency, but not you. You can be different. You can stay in control because you've lived long enough not to lose your head over a fleeting touch. Because you already know how much it costs to give your soul away for an empty caress. Before we go on, if this content has made you think differently, subscribe to the channel and hit like. I'd love to know which country you're watching from. And if you've been in one of these situations, leave a simple comment. I've been there. There are still more signs you can't ignore, and I promise you the last one will be the clearest, the boldest, the one that draws the line between being used or being respected. After the first physical touch, the accidental brush that wasn't so accidental, the game moves into a new phase. She no longer needs to test your willingness. Now she starts setting the stage, planning the encounter. The moment when you'll be in front of her not by chance, but because she made sure of it. We've reached the fourth point in this video, when she changes her appearance knowing she'll see you. This is one of the most common mistakes men make, thinking a woman gets dolled up just because. As if it's normal that on the exact day you show up, her hair is styled differently, her perfume is stronger, her blouse is tighter, her neckline more revealing. No, nothing is random. What you're seeing isn't vanity. It's a coded message, a visual language that only men who have lived, who've learned to observe, know how to read. And if you miss it, not because you didn't notice, but because you refuse to believe it, then you've already fallen into the most subtle trap of all, thinking you're not the target. It's a mental trap that's very common in midlife. We've been led to believe that after 50, we're no longer desired, that we don't stir anything anymore. That desire is for the young, and that belief numbs you, it blinds you, it makes you overlook the obvious. The day she starts presenting herself differently, when she knows you'll be there, she's not looking for general approval. She's looking for your gaze. She wants to know if you notice her, if you still see her as a woman. Because maybe there's no desire left at home, but with you, there's a reaction. And that reaction to her is worth gold. The problem is that many men, blinded by their own invisibility complex, don't pick up on it. They think, she probably dresses like that for everyone. There's no way it's for me. That's the most common form of self-betrayal. Believing you don't spark anything, that you no longer matter. But she's not wearing that dress for her husband. She didn't put on lipstick to impress her sister-in-law. She didn't style her hair so meticulously just to grab coffee. She did it because you were going to be there, because she needs to know she can still stir something in you, that she still has power over a man. And if you don't see it, you lose. Not the game, you lose yourself. This is destructive because it plants a false story in your head, that you don't count anymore. And when you live under that idea, you act from insecurity, from doubt, from passivity. And worse, you let others decide for you. She dresses up, she flaunts, she hints, and you, instead of reading it clearly, ignore it out of fear of seeming naive. But here, the naive one isn't the one who sees, it's the one who refuses to. The one who keeps telling himself it's all coincidence just to avoid facing the truth, that you're on the radar of a woman who refuses to be invisible in her own home. Accepting this doesn't mean falling into arrogance. It means reclaiming a sense of presence that age hasn't taken from you, but that you've buried yourself. Because a woman in her maturity doesn't play dumb games. If she puts herself on display, it's because she wants to be seen. And if you don't realize it, you didn't just miss the sign. You gave up your power to choose, Because now it's no longer about whether she desires you, it's about whether you're ready to hold that gaze, that scent, that hint, without melting like a starving teenager or shutting down like a scared old man. What comes next will be more obvious, but if you didn't catch this, if you couldn't recognize the subtle change in a woman who wants to feel alive through you, then you're stepping into dangerous territory blindfolded. And that's where mature men lose, not for lack of desire, but for fear of facing it. You've reached the 5th point in this video, and now we're stepping into territory where the trap is no longer subtle, it's blatant. We're talking about when she gets jealous without having any right to. And this, more than a sign, is a warning. Because when a married woman starts showing jealousy, what she's revealing isn't love. It's possession, it's ego, it's the desire to control you emotionally without committing to anything real. She wants you for herself, without giving up her life. She wants you available, but not free. She wants you there, waiting, while she keeps playing the role of wife with zero consequences. And you, if you don't understand this dynamic, start walking toward the edge of a cliff with your eyes shut, because you confuse her jealousy with affection, with interest, with signs that maybe, someday, she'll choose you. But that's not going to happen. What will happen is that every time you talk to another woman, every time you look happy without her, every time you're not paying attention, she'll show signs of discomfort. She'll get distant. She'll guilt trip you. And if you don't have the right mindset, you'll fall into the trap like a teenager, trying to win her back, chasing her attention, as if you owed her something. But you owe her nothing. She's not your partner. She has no right to set terms for you. And yet, if you don't wake up, you'll hand her that power. Because jealousy, when it comes from someone who has no commitment to you, isn't a sign of love. It's a form of emotional manipulation. It makes you feel like you've done something wrong, like you've hurt her, like you need to prove your loyalty. But that loyalty isn't mutual. It's one-sided. It's a chain you've wrapped around your own neck. This is where many men lose their self-respect. They become addicted to the validation of a woman who isn't even free, and every jealous gesture becomes a hit of dopamine that hooks them deeper. If she's jealous, it's because she cares. No, she doesn't care. She needs you as a mirror, as an escape, as an emotional ornament, but she's not willing to risk anything, only to control what you do, what you say, who you talk to, as if you were hers, without facing the consequences of actually having you. Breaking this isn't easy, but it's possible, and it starts with a raw decision to let go of the need for approval, to understand that unfulfilled desire turns rotten, and that you're not at this stage in your life to rot emotionally over anyone. The mindset you need is that of a man who doesn't play emotional games, who doesn't beg, who doesn't explain, who doesn't justify himself. If she gets jealous, she can deal with that with her husband, not with you. You're not a supporting character in a story you didn't write. And if she's not willing to build anything with you, she has no right to destroy your freedom. Here's the truth. Keep giving in to those jealousy-laced illusions of love, and you'll end up emotionally dependent, constantly frustrated, and worst of all, stripped of your self-respect. And once that's gone, there's nothing left. Because if you don't respect yourself, no one else will. So the next time that married woman shows signs of jealousy, don't take it as a romantic signal. Take it for what it really is, a warning. And you decide whether to stay trapped or finally take control. Because there's no prison worse than the one you accept just to avoid being alone. And you weren't born for that. After she's tested you with jealousy and watched your reactions, the next step isn't emotional, it's territorial. We've reached the 6th point in this video, when she starts finding excuses to be alone with you. It's not to talk, it's not for advice, it's because she wants to feel something that no longer exists in her everyday life, tension. The kind of tension that anticipates an encounter. The kind of tension only a man with self-control can handle without ruining it. This is the moment where many men blow it. They get nervous, crack awkward jokes, try to kiss her too soon. And listen closely, that kills everything. If she's found a way to be alone with you, it's not for you to act like a hormone-driven teenager. It's to see if you know how to read the pace, if you can hold the silence without breaking it, if you're capable of being near her without begging, without touching, without pleading, and still make her feel your presence, that you could have her without needing to yet. Seduction with a married woman at this stage isn't about empty words or clumsy moves. It's about presence, in how you look at her, in how you stay calm, in how your voice softens just a bit when you're alone, in how your words slow down, become more grounded, and above all, in how you don't make a move, but suggest everything. If in that moment you can make her feel that it could happen, that it's her choice, then you've already won. She wants to feel that she can still provoke, but she also wants to feel provoked. And that's where your power lies. Don't be direct, be precise. Speak to her ear without touching her. Ask something intimate, but not sexual. Make her think about you without saying it out loud. And if she decides to come closer, don't be the one to cross the line. Let her do it. Because if you cross it, she can blame you later. But if she does, there's no turning back. It was her decision. You were just there, calm, ready, masculine. Now, if what you truly want is to take things to intimacy, I won't sugarcoat it. Don't improvise. Be prepared like a man who knows exactly what he's doing. She's not looking for clumsiness. She's looking for a ritual, a space where she doesn't feel like she's cheating, but like a woman who is desired. Set the scene. Keep it discreet. Make her feel unique. And when the time comes, don't rush. Own the moment. Because for a woman like her, the physical part isn't enough. She wants to feel understood, anticipated, led, not a rushed lover, a complete man. But be careful. If you're not emotionally solid, don't go there. If you're looking for affection or love, walk away now. This is pure desire, raw, urgent. She's not leaving her husband. She's not building a life with you, but she can give you an intense experience if you know how to play your cards. No guilt, no drama, just chemistry, just presence. And if you can handle that, it might just bring back something you thought you'd lost, your ability to seduce, to own the moment, to be a man, in body and in soul. You've reached the seventh and final point of this video, the boldest, the clearest, the one that separates the men who imagine seduction from the ones who actually live it. And it's when she throws sexual innuendos at you, disguised as jokes, lines like, "You should be illegal, your wife's a lucky woman, with that body, who wouldn't go with you?" She says it laughing as if it's a joke, but she's not laughing because it's funny. She's laughing to shield herself, to see how you respond, to see if you understand that behind every word, there's a fantasy begging to be fulfilled. And this is where you need to stop acting like a confused guy. If you've made it this far, if she's already sought you out, confessed her emptiness, touched you, dressed up for you, gotten jealous, and stayed alone with you, this innuendo isn't the beginning. It's the end of the ritual, the final cue before everything can happen. And if you don't respond like a confident man, calm and full of desire, then you've wasted everything that led up to this point. So what do? How do you actually take her to that intimate place? Here's the key. Don't laugh with her. Don't play along. Look at her. Steady. In silence. Let your gaze say what your mouth doesn't need to. Then step a little closer. Slow the pace of the conversation. Don't say anything empty. Don't fall into cliches. Say something short but charged with tension. Something like, "You don't know the effect that has when you say that." Or simply, "You know exactly what you're doing." Nothing more. Let the moment breathe. Let it hum with energy. She wants to feel that you can hold that tension without breaking, that you won't get nervous, that you won't ruin it with crude comments or clumsy moves. If you play it right, if you know how to balance suggestion with presence, it will happen. And when it does, you can't mess it up. Because a married woman who decides to break all her rules doesn't do it for just anyone. She does it for someone who makes her feel it was worth it. So hear this clearly. If you make it to bed with a woman like that, don't rush. Don't go in with fear or cheap tricks. Do what few men ever do. Observe her, slowly, with your hands, your eyes, your voice. A woman's greatest orgasm isn't physical, it's mental. Make her feel wanted like she hasn't felt in years. Let her feel you're there just for her. Don't rush. Set the pace. Pause. Whisper. Touch her like you've read every part of her story. And above all, stay in control. Because when you own the moment, she surrenders without guilt. In the end, she's not trying to escape her husband. She's trying to escape her routine, her emptiness, her silence. And if you give her something no one else has, more than just intimacy, but experience, presence, command, then, even if it's just once, she'll remember you forever. And if you've made it this far, drop something in the comments, not out of obligation, but as a sign of recognition. Just write this: I play with a cold head, because the one who masters his desire masters the moment, and you're not here to imagine what could be anymore. You're here to live it, like a complete man. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're not here out of curiosity. You're here because something in all of this hits home, shakes you, challenges you, because you've lived long enough to understand that seduction in maturity isn't a game, it's a choice. A married woman who sends you these signals isn't playing with you. She's revealing what's missing in her life. And you have two paths: be the man who gets lost in his desire, or be the one who owns the moment, the one who decides, who accepts what's offered without losing his dignity or direction. No one's going to make that choice for you. Not her, not life, only you. This isn't a channel for applause or self-help quotes. This isn't for the comfortable. It's for those who dare to face their lives head-on, to accept what they want without shame, to act with awareness instead of being dragged along. If you're hearing these words now, then you're part of a minority that doesn't numb itself, doesn't lie to itself, that wants to wake up. So drop your comment below with a simple phrase: I love wisdom, and tell me what country you're watching from. Because no matter where you live, we all face the same dilemma: surrender or take control. I'm Celia, and this is House of Wisdom. This channel exists for men like you, men who refuse to grow old, faded and manipulated, men who want to reclaim their respect, their desire, their presence. You won't find comfort here, you'll find truth. And if that's what you're looking for, subscribe now. Be part of this community that has decided to open its eyes and live with clarity, strength, and dignity. Because what you learned today might be exactly what another man needs to hear. Share it. And don't go yet. The conversation isn't over. Watch the 2 videos that are about to pop up on screen. Pick one, the one that makes you the most uncomfortable. Because right there, in that discomfort, is where change begins.